most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Yeah. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. Coming in hot. No big, I feel like just like the fajito. Shoot a shot.
Hey. All right. Listen. We are so happy that you all with us. Give you time to come on in. Come on in hot. Give you time to come on in hot. All right. Come on in, everybody. Hey. All right. Listen. We're so happy that you all with us. Come on, share. Invite somebody to the podcast, to the talk tonight. Invite somebody to the talk tonight. It's going to get a little hot, probably. Bring them in. Come on in, everybody. Bring them in. All right. I'm going to give you like 1 minute to come on in. Come on, share. Invite somebody to the podcast, to the talk tonight. Invite somebody to come on in. Invite somebody to come on in tonight. All right. Let's do this real quick. We'll make sure we capture your comments tonight. This is a test. All right, we want to make sure we capture your comments. All right. Make sure we're live on our platforms. Right. We're gonna do a quick check with everybody. You remember last week we had some technical difficulties, and so we don't want the same thing this week. So let me know. Comment. Let me know you're in here. So we know we're doing. We know we're live and everything is going well. Okay. All right. I see. All right. I see some people getting in here. Good. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. And so we don't want the same thing this week. Cool. I see that. Great. We're talking about tonight. Why is it that Black women are not getting married? And we're going to dive into some of the stats that I saw recently. But I want to give about one more minute for everyone to come on in. We can get started here. Give it one more minute. I do have to. It's like every Tuesday. I've had some plans that already been planned, and so I am going to be right at the hour. If not like 5 minutes before the hour. So I just want to let you know. So again, bring your people in, get the people in. Let them know what we're talking about tonight. We want to get them in. All right, you got 30 seconds. We're gonna jump start this real quick here. All right. Cool. All right. So listen, thank you all for being with me today. It is a cold day here in Cincinnati. Yes. So cold that I actually have my tea. I got my tea today because it's like that cold. So now you do know that I want participation. That's what it's about. I want to see you all participating in the conversation today. Again, feel free to share. But we're talking about the question of why some Black women are not getting married at some rates as other groups. is worth talking about, right? And we want to hear from you. Maybe you are a black woman that is married or a black woman that's not married. We have various different perspectives, and that's important because without perspective, it's very hard to be able to have a intelligent conversation because everyone has their own different perspective, and not just perspective, but we also have experience. Some have experience, which is many people say experience is one of the best teachers. You have experience is one of the best teachers, and so I want to hear from you. I see we got some on YouTube. Hello, shout out to YouTube. We got some on YouTube, and we have some that are watching via Facebook as well. So we're streaming on both platforms, on my Facebook page and on Vic Phillips podcast. But let's dive into it. Let's talk about it. We don't got much time, so let's hit it. So this show is not all about my perspective, and the funny part about the show is that it's called What I Really Want to Say. Well, the challenge is for you, is what I'm saying what I want to say, or am I playing more of a devil's advocate role where I'm kind of speaking in terms of what other people would say in this situation, right? Not necessarily how I feel, but it could be how I feel. First thing, so I was reading the other day about a stat that was alarming to me, and this is what the stats was. It said in the 1970s, there were only about 20% of black women not married in the 1970s. Fast forward, that number has doubled to 48%, almost 50% of black women not being married. So that number is alarming. Within the time frame of the 70s to where we're at now, 50 years fast forward, 50 plus years fast forward, that marriage rate is going down in the black community. So can we talk about it? Can we have a real conversation? And feel free, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to comment there. If you're watching via Facebook, feel free to comment there too as well. I want to do something real quick here on Facebook. For some reason, it's not showing public. I'm gonna change that real quick here. Make sure that's public. Because you probably said, where is he at? I don't see him. Okay, now, if you're on Facebook, you can see me now. I don't know why that was on private, but probably when I was doing my test earlier. Now, when we talk about this, it's a lot to unfold, there's a lot of onions to uncover, right? Like, why is black women not getting married? Is there something wrong with our black sisters? Are they not marriage material? Are they not marriage ready? Or is it not necessarily the women, but it's the other side because somebody got to marry them, right? So the black man has to get on his knee and say, hey, will you marry me? I love you, being with you, I want you to marry me. So one perspective says perhaps maybe it's the women, but then another perspective may say it's the men because the woman can't get married unless she is pursued and proposed to. So let's talk about it. Here's the scenario. You are a black woman and you are in a relationship. You've been in a relationship for, let's say, 3, 4, or 5 years. And the question has not come up, will you marry me? Now, I think by that time frame, that person have probably saw you in all facets of your life, know you pretty well. Now, some people argue, especially in the church arena, that after 6 months, you should know. After 6 months, no, not necessarily you should know, but when it gets to 6 months, you should say, will you marry me? That's a whole nother conversation for debate, and because some people follow that pattern, and after 4 or 5 months, they say, hey, will you marry me? And they get married. And I would love to have a study show that those that marry quickly, well, some may say quickly because quickly is subjective, right? Subjective. So some may say quickly. I want to see those stats to say, hey, those were married quickly. How was that long-term marriage, right? Or those that waited longer, was their marriage longer, or are they still married? Those, a lot of those things, a lot of different nuances plays in part of that. But so I'm go back to the scenario. You're married or you're in a relationship 3 to 5 years, and he has not popped the question. Why? I want to hear from you. Why? I'm looking at YouTube, looking at Facebook. I want to know, why do you think that a man would have not popped the question yet? Will you marry me? What's holding him back from popping that question? Why is it that our black sisters are at a less, they have less of an opportunity to get married than their counterparts, right? What is that? Is it a shortage of black men? Is that one thing? But we want to be able to answer those questions tonight, because some of you all may have had some experiences, some women or men. On the man perspective, you may say, this is why I have not. Some men sometimes are challenged with perhaps finances, right? Some men that are very big with planning may say, I don't know if I want to move on with marriage right now because my finances are not well. So there are some reasons why some men do not get married, because maybe perhaps their finances are not well and they feel that as a man they want to be able to take care of that household. That could be a reason. But listen, you've been together 3 to 5 years, and the question is not, maybe you talked about it, right? But he has not moved forward to say, will you marry me? What do you feel are some of those roadblocks? Talk to me, sisters. Talk to me, men. Men, why? You've been with him 3 to 5 years now. What's holding you back from making that commitment to say, hey, you know what? I want to marry you. Got some comments coming in already. Yeah, men usually know within 6 months that you want to marry that partner. Yeah, what do you think? I think you do. I think that within 6 months, you may have, so within 6 months, I feel you may have an idea. You may say, okay, this person is marriage material. This person I can see myself being with, right? Within that 6 month period. Does that mean that you would be like, okay, 6 months, let's go ahead and go move forward, let's do it? Not necessarily. Now some do. And again, to each is their own, as they feel led to do. Some people say they are led by the Spirit to do it. Some people are just, hey, we work. I can see us working, and so let's go ahead and do it. But we have some men that perhaps are planners. They are strategic with their moves. They don't want to jump into prematurely. But here's the thing. If I say that, then you have to have the other argument that we're talking about the black women, right? So a man is a man. So what about the other counterparts that say, hey, within a year or two, let's get married, let's go ahead and do it. And they're still a man, right? But so there's other nuances with that though, right? Perhaps in the black community, men are not, we look at statistics in terms of education and economics. Our white counterparts have higher education than blacks. It is what it is, and they earn more, which education and money kind of goes hand in hand, right? And so then when you earn more, you're more susceptible probably to say, hey, I want to go ahead and marry you because I feel more economically secure. And so again, men think about money when it talks about marriage. Not just the marriage and the wedding, the flowers and all that. They process all of it and say, okay, am I ready to be able to take on this responsibility? We live in a generation now where some people do 50-50, some people do 100-0. And I think a lot of our sisters sometimes, our sisters, our black sisters put some pressure, and you done seen so many Tyler Perry movies and so many these reality shows, and you're like, hey, you're gonna have to pay for all of it. Now on the flip side, other counterparts, they may not mind paying for all of it because they saw that in the household. They were raised differently, and their economic status was different too as well. Let's just be honest. Their household, their net worth, the white family net worth is like 200,000+, where the black family net worth is like 30-40 grand. So there's a big wealth gap there. And when you have money, you have more security. And when you have more security, you're able to move and make those big decisions because you know, I've got money in the bank. Okay, we got some comments. Let me see here. Knowing and taking action are different. That's the thing, exactly. So you may know, like, hey, this person is who I want to be with, right? But it takes planning. It takes, again, action. You know, those things are so important. Bring back fathers paying for weddings. That's another thing. Yeah, you know, it's funny because you know you hear about. I'm glad you made that comment. You hear about certain things where people saying, a man should pay 100% of it. And that seems like people say that's old school. 100% of it, 100% of the bills and everything the man should pay. Well, if we go back to old school and now we talk about gender roles, but when you start talking about gender roles and when a man say that a role of a woman is X, Y, and Z, now he is sexist. However, it's easy for a woman to say, no, that's what a man's supposed to do. Take the trash out. Who does it? The man. Pump the gas. Who does it? The man. Fix the light bulb in the ceiling. Who does it? The man. And no one says anything about that, right? Oh, you're sexist because I'm a man, I gotta fix the light bulb. No, it's in the nature. But then when you say things like, who's cooking, who's cleaning? And you say, the woman. Oh, you're being sexist, why can't the man cook? And so when you talk about bills and all those things, and hey, 100% to zero, I pay 100%, you don't pay anything. Man thinks about that. But then to your point, bringing back to fathers, that we're talking about traditionalism, the woman father was the one that would take care of the wedding, right? The tradition said that the woman would basically, her father would fund the wedding because the husband is funding her life, right? The woman's father or mother, whoever, will fund the wedding because the man is funding her for the rest of her life. Like, I'm funding her for the rest of my life. From the rest of our life, you can at least take up the wedding costs. Because trust and believe that funding her for the rest of your life is going to be times 100 what that wedding costs. But that's traditionalism, right? Because a lot of fathers perhaps can't do that, or the father's not in their life, or he's like, no, I'm not doing that. I have to pay for my own wedding. You want to pay for your wedding too. You want to pay for your wedding too, Jessica. I'm not paying for your wedding. I have to pay for mine. You pay for yours. If you don't got enough money, I need to wait for 4 or 5 years until you get the money because I'm not paying for it. So you got some fathers like that, right? They're not going to pay for it, but that's some of the traditionalism that we grew up on. To use I mean, the father paid for the wedding back in the time, but now it's not. A lot of times that's not the case. Where then both parties have to put their money into it. Demographics. No, there's a demographic imbalance. So let's talk about that. I wrote that down because there are often fewer marriage eligible black men compared to black women, which is influenced by what? Incarceration, mortality rates, and lower education attainment among black men. So it's not that just sometimes black men don't want to commit. There is some demographic imbalances. Again, higher incarceration of black men, the mortality rate. And the mortality rate is not necessarily saying that black men just get shot down in the street and dying, where that does happen. But not just that, but it's other things that are factors of mortality rate where in our community, black community, perhaps we need to change our eating habits, right? A black man is more susceptible to have high blood pressure, to die of heart disease than other races, right? So when we're dying, not just from murder, but dying from physical things, medical reasons, then is not as balanced with black men. And so there are some of those things we have to talk about. And then the lower education attainment among black men. Again, the lower education typically that you're going to have less finances, right? Not always. There's many millionaires that didn't go to college, and they have some great success stories. So it doesn't always mean that, but those things are kind of like far in between. So when you talk about, the black man just don't want to marry the black woman, not necessarily the case. There are so many other factors that we have to look at. Educational disparities, and we talk about that. Black women are pursuing higher education at a significant higher rate than black men. Let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. They are. And then potentially leading to mismatches in social economic compatibility. Yeah. Say it again, Victor. When the black woman is significantly have higher rates than black men, it's going to potentially lead to mismatches, right? Mismatches in social economic compatibility. What am I saying here is that, some women, when they get to a certain level, they want their man there too. Or they feel like, I don't need a man because, I got my master's, I got my doctorate degree, I make my own money, I'm an independent woman. Some women are like that, but some women do have those things, but still desire the man. But when they have those things, the education, the finances, the money, then it becomes sometimes a challenge for them to say, okay, I'm just going to, I'm going to not say dummy down, but I'm just going to accept what he brings. May not be as much as I bring because of where I'm at educationally, and financially, but I'm just going to accept it. Some women will, some women don't, because some women feel like, hey, I'm got to carry the load. They don't want to carry the load of a man, especially when they brought up in a traditional type setting. They feel that the man should be the one that is the breadwinner. Let me sip on my tea. Come on, I'm hearing from men. Heard one from a woman, but I'm going to hear from women too as well. If you're not married, right? What does that challenge look like? What's holding you back for that next step, that next level? He said, will you pay for Maddie's wedding when she turns 40? When she turns 40. Oh, I get it. Like, she ain't getting married until she turned 40. I will. Unless she want to pay for it, or if you get a rich man and he want to pay for it, I won't argue. Like, all right, Trevor, you can pay for it, Trevor. Another point that I want to bring out and have a conversation about is the economic factor. We talk about economic stability. Many black women prioritize financial stability in a partner, which can be challenging in communities where systematic issues have limited economic opportunities for black men, right? Some women are very much, they're on their game. They have these, they write in their journals and have these different things that they want, their man to bring to the table. And where you have those economic challenges with black men, again, that's another reason why, that may not work. And then we have also, let's not skip over it, gender role expectations. That's another one. Now, traditional expectations about men's role as providers may conflict with today's society, because again, we say, for example, we're talking about that my man has to pay 100% of the bills, where sometimes that is not going to be the case. At every household is different. Black woman, can you really expect him to pay 100% when your monthly bills are, say, $6,000 a month, right? And perhaps he brings in $4,000 a month. There's no way he can pay 100%. So he brings in $4,000 a month, and say you bring in, you bring in $4,000 a month too. So you're bringing $8,000 a month. The bills are $6,000 a month. All right, $2,000 a month cushion. To expect him to pay all that, knowing where he's at and his income, doesn't make sense to me, right? And so, you have to have some type of leeway. Some people say 50-50, and sometimes it's not 50-50. Sometimes it's 60-40. Sometimes it's 70-30. Sometimes it's, 75-25. It all depends on the income. But again, where you have some of these expectations, and these gender role expectations for the man, it may scare some men off and say, I don't think that I could live up to those expectations. I'm going to check out my YouTube because I'm seeing comments on Facebook, but make sure that I'm not missing any comments on YouTube. YouTube, if you're here, you can chat too as well. I want to hear your perspective too as well. My third point that I had was, let me see here. Some consider their spouse a roommate if they have to pay some bills. Some consider their spouse a roommate if they have to pay some bills. I got to think about that. You want to explain that to me. I know what you're saying, but why would they consider their spouse a roommate? They have to pay some bills. I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little lost there. Sure, it makes sense, but I'm trying to think how would they feel that way? I don't know. It's a good point, but if you give me some more clarity, I think I'll probably understand it a little bit better. It's a different time now. A lot of morals and respect for marriage is not the same. Let's talk about that. So some people argue that black men just don't want to commit. I don't want to commit. I don't want to commit. So some people argue that. Black man, he don't want to commit. And I don't just, y'all give, sometimes y'all do us bad. Y'all always put the commitment with the black man. It could just be men in general, right? But some people talk about how that black men don't want to commit, right? Or after so long being with someone, you have to ask the question, when I marry you, what is going to be different about our relationship, right? Yeah, last name. Yeah, a marriage certificate. But what is going to be different? I don't know. What's going to be different? Traditionalism and spiritualism. You should be able to say, well, when we get married, then you'd be able to, get a piece of this, right? Yeah. So they got something to look forward to. Oh man, I can't wait. Soon as I say I do, we gonna skip the wedding reception and we gonna go. Well, we ain't gonna skip it. Soon as I say I do, we gonna get in that limo and get one on real quick before we get out to the thing. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. I got this rainbow mic. I think I want to change this because I don't want nobody. I'm sorry, never mind. I'm off subject here. I don't know why this mic is rainbow. I'm getting a different mic. I'm just giving me a black one because I don't want to confuse anybody. Anyway, so people say, that, hey, we got something to look forward to in terms of that. But as anybody knows, after, even with that, that is that. So after a while, that becomes commonly used to that. So it has to be more than just a sexual thing, right? Because, after that, then what? So some people ask, like, well, if I get married, what am I doing? Also men or women, whoever is more so the breadwinner or whoever's got the most income, typically, and most of the time when we talk about it, it's like men, right? So when a man gets married, what is the benefit for him, right? When a woman gets married, she has the benefit, especially if you get these traditional, she has the benefit of saying, whoo, I don't got to do this by myself. I don't got to pay all these bills. I'm not doing this financial. I'm married. He's coming in. He's helping. Either he's helping 50, 60, 70%, or 100%. If he's helping 100%, oh, yes. Oh, I do, baby. I do. But then the man looks at it like, well, if I get married, what benefit am I getting? Especially, if you're getting the cookies already, I'm already getting that. If you're living with them, I'm already living with them. So what benefit am I getting when I say I do? Is it like, hey, do men, talk to me. Do you feel this one-sided where you feel that the woman gets all the benefits and the man gets none? So men on here, what benefits do you feel you get as a man when you get married? I'm gonna get quiet. I'm gonna drink my tea. It ain't hot no more, it's cold. Oh, it's cold. Can I get some hot tea, assistant? No, this look at your tag on that. I'm waiting, man. I am waiting. Men, I'm the question I pose to men. Men, when you get married, give me one or two benefits you feel you're getting when you get married. Women, let me ask you, women, when you get married, what are a couple of benefits you feel that you are getting? Ben Carson, he is a retired brain surgeon. He was one of the people that was in Black Man too. He was one of the people that was in President Trump's last administration, Ben Carson. And somebody asked Ben Carson, a woman asked Ben Carson, black woman, single woman. She said, "Mr. Carson, Dr. Carson, how can how can I change my economic status? 'Cause I'm a single mom, got kids, and some days I'm struggling." And Ben Carson didn't say get a job. He didn't say get a job. He didn't say get a business started. He said get married. And I laughed like, no, he didn't start to get married. But when I thought about it, he was saying probably perhaps because two incomes are better than one. And even I say this all the time that I feel that a woman was never meant to do it by herself, right? Never meant to do it by herself. And so his idea was, hey, if you get married, then you won't have this constant struggle, right? And that was his response. So let me say something. Different time now. Yeah, a lot of roles and respect. Okay, but not the same. They say they will get another man to pay their half. Huh? 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 They say they get another. Wow. Well, wait a minute. What's going on there? She said, I ain't paying nothing. So she's married. She said, the half that I'm supposed to pay, I'm gonna get another man to pay. Oh, she's a pimpette. Then she got you paying half and another man. That's funny. That's funny. But I hope nobody's doing that. But I'm sure somebody probably is doing it. In today's world, someone that's in your corner forever, someone to help you 10 times what you already have, an assistant. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, so for a man, I think it's important because for a man, this is so real, y'all. For a man that perhaps don't need a woman's financial support, right? A man that don't need her financial support. He's going to need something that is so much bigger than financial support, and you said assistant, but somebody to be able to help in certain areas, especially if he's in a certain place in his life where life is moving fast, to have that person to be able to step in where he may miss a beat or to be able to lighten the load for him. That's important because some people say, well, what do you bring to the table? And the thing is, a man that is very sustained in what he's doing already and have things going on, he doesn't need anybody to bring nothing to the table. Everything he needs at the table, he already has. So I think what happens is, to your point, when a woman comes in, she may enhance or show him something that's not on his table that should be on his table. Sometimes that's happened. Like sometimes you don't know what needs to be on your table, and she may have that revelation of what needs to be on your table. Another one is health decisions if your partner can't make a decision. Yeah. And that's a whole other thing when your partner can't make a decision. That could be annoying, especially in the sense of maybe a man that just can't get it together and make decisions on his own, or vice versa, a woman. A man doesn't. I mean, a woman doesn't need a boy, right? She don't want to marry a boy, but also a man don't want to marry a girl that is, that doesn't needs help with every single decision. Sometimes you have to look at from both perspectives. A lot of times women sometimes carry men, and men do also carry women too as well. So you have to look at that. But women, and again, another woman on here. What do you feel that a man would bring to your table? What do you feel that the benefit of you getting married, right? What's the benefit for you getting married, right? And let's talk about, sometimes we talk about these benefits that are, they're kind of like I call them invisible benefits. I need that support, I need that love, I need that respect, and great. What are some tangibles though that you feel that marriage would bring? Because you talk about it like you talk about even with God, people are, we talk like with God, people believe in God, right? But nobody really stays with the invisible benefits with God. They look into like, they also look at it from the perspective of like, well, what tangible things that God are blessing you with, right? Not always looking at the invisible things. So what tangible things do you think that would be a benefit to you, woman or man that's watching, when you get married? What tangible benefits? Somebody to tell the waitress she got my order wrong. A woman will check. Yeah, a woman will check a waitress, a waiter or waitress. Like, he got his food wrong. He said, "Well done." Nah, you get. I see some pink in there. Yeah, I know you. So anyway, that woman to kind of, I got to speak up for you when you don't speak up for yourself sometimes. That's always important on both sides. Let's also talk about this here. Um, the cultural and social shifts when we talk about marriage. People attitudes have changed, and I think on here they said that people don't value it as much anymore. But people attitude towards marriage has changed. The marriage rates have declined across all racial groups. It has. It just hits the black group a little bit more heavy because they're already not getting married. So when the black woman is not getting married already, and there's already overall racial decline, it is going to almost double impact the black woman. So yeah, the marriage rates have declined across all racial groups due to changing societal norms. With more people opting for living together, they're delaying marriage altogether, right? So if I'm living together with you now, again, I said earlier, then what happens later on? Like we get married and we wake up the next day after marriage and like, hey, how you doing? Yep, we're still living here together. Hey, the people say that they're getting married because of this. I want to go to the next step because I want you to know that I'm serious about you, that I'm making a lifetime commitment. I want you to be my lifetime partner. So even though yes, we may live together, or yes, we may be together cohabitating, that's not it. There's still some more to it. But now in today's society, people are doing that. Some people live together. It helps with financial raising bills and all that good stuff. Coming up in church, that's definitely a no-no. They call it you shacking. You shouldn't be shacking. You shouldn't be shacking, not shacking. Now some people got married and never shacked. I don't know who started that term, and they never lived together. They got married and said, "What the heck am I dealing with here?" Because it's one thing to not live with a person, and then when you live with the person, you get to see the person more, right? You get to see who they are. You get to see, So that can be a very touchy subject. So that's one of the reasons why people's attitude towards marriage has changed, because a lot of people right now in society is like, hey, we're just gonna live together already, so we don't got to deal with the paper, because when you do with the paper, you're gonna sign when you sign that marriage certificate, that paper, we locked in. We locked in. Ain't no switching up. We locked in. Well, some people get unlocked and they got to sign some other papers, right? And then those other papers make it so difficult. It can be difficult, right? Because then people are like, well, I want this and I want that and I want half of this and I want half of that. And you gave me 2 babies. And so now you're going to have to pay child support. And then if you pay child support, hey, brothers, if you pay child support, go ahead and claim them on your taxes. Yeah, hey, you want me to pay child support? Just know you ain't gonna claim it on these taxes if I'm paying child support. You ain't claiming them. No, I'm gonna claim them. I'm claiming them. That's a whole nother podcast. So yeah, changing attitudes towards marriage. When it looks like when you're doing married things, that can delay the marriage. When you're already doing married things, live together, cooking and cleaning, paying each other bills and putting money into the same bank. We're married. You just don't got the paper. We're married. So that could be a reason why some in society and even in our culture, black culture, delay. Some people laugh, but there's some men that will just move in with the woman, right? Hey, I'm moving with you. Move in with you. And that woman is single, and perhaps that woman gets some financial benefits, and so the man feels like, hey, I'm gonna move in with you. We don't have much bills, and we just live happy ever after. However, but we get married, baby, then you know what? It's gonna change everything. So I don't want to get married because I don't want to change these. these benefits that we get. That's just, that's, am I right? Am I in the right house or what? Am I talking? Am I in the right house? I don't know. We got one comment here that says, when you move together, you get to see the habits that you cannot stand. Like what? Like him snoring or him, I don't know, passing gas in the middle of the night. Or her hair all over the sink. Yeah. Or her hair in the shower on your toes. Don't you hate that? But it be hair that's just hate that. Or you get to experience her cooking, and it's not that good. Yeah, it's not that good at all. You got to say, "Oh, baby, this is some good dry chicken." So yeah, you can experience some. when you really like live together, you can experience some things, and and you're like, I don't know if I can do it. Well, listen, but hey, those things have to be. Your love is deeper than that. So what? She burns the chicken. So what? He farts in the bed. So what? You love them. You got to love them through the burnt chicken. You got to love them through the snoring. You got to love them when their hair fall out. You got to love her when she gets bigger. You got to love him when he gets bigger. So you got to say those things got to, because I love you. I don't mind dealing with that. All right, I got 2 more points, then I'm out. We're going to eat. I talked a little bit about it. So for the black man, it's we got some systematic challenges. One being mass incarceration. Yep, mass incarceration. The disappropriated number of mass incarceration for black men reduce the pool of available partners. What you gonna do? Marry him in jail? Or here's another thing: if he's in jail, you probably gonna look his way. Like, I don't want to marry him, or you may put him in there. Well, I don't know, but it's like because of that. So women, you're already black women, you're already at a disadvantage because a lot of our brothers are locked up. They're locked up, then they can't support no family. And you better not be going down there and marrying them, and they are locked up. I know he said love, but I don't know. That's a hard one. I've heard of people they really love them, and they marry them while they in jail for the next 10 years. Somebody, is she being faithful for those 10 years though? You may ask a question, if you've been faithful in there, you may not be faithful in there with Tyrone. I don't know. So mass incarceration is one reason, right? We talk about racial discrimination. When you think about the structural inequalities that impact the family stability in the black home and the economic stability, it's a big difference. Like I said, the wealth gap in the black and white home is a big wealth gap, where the net worth again is like over 200,000+ average for a white family, and like 40 to 50 for a black family. So it's a big difference there when we talk about those economic inequalities. Now, whose fault is it? We could say it's the man's fault, but that's gonna be a whole nother show. So I love the podcast because I can be able to talk about things that perhaps people don't want to talk about or be real about. But we talk about the economic challenges in the black community. When we talk about the wealth and all those things, people say that some people think that poverty is not a decision, and some people think that it is a decision. Because we look at it from the perspective of if getting wealthy or rich is a decision, you would think the adverse is that being poor is a decision too as well. Some people say, well, they was raised in money, they inherited. Most multi-billionaires are self-made. They didn't inherit no money. They went out there and made it. So if the majority of them are self-made, meaning they had to hustle and bustle for it, they chose wealth. Do some people choose poverty because they just don't want to do it? So we have to talk about those things as well. Let's deal with media. I'm gonna deal with media, and then I'm gonna have to wrap it up. There's some negative stereotypes in our media. Media portrayal of black women as angry, or difficult, and that could perpetuate some harmful narratives to discourage men for pursuing marriage with a black woman. Like, oh, she always got an attitude. She always mean mugging. She always she don't know how to submit. I need me a Becky to know how. I need me a woman that know how to submit. So again, those are media portrayals, though, because that's not the sisters. No, that's what the media says about women. It's not that's not the real sisters. I mean, look at Atlanta Housewives. They wasn't like that. Look at the basketball wives of somebody. They wasn't about drama. That's sarcasm. So the media can portray that, and then somebody be like, I don't know if I want to deal with that. Also, let's talk about it. Beauty standards. I call it racial beauty standards because the media again can marginalize black women in dating and in the marriage market, and so the media may say media thinks that lighter is prettier, right? The closer you can get to a certain color, it's more pretty, right? And then so you got people that are, some men that are look more for the fair complexion, and then sometimes they go too fair, and then they're not even black anymore. So a lot of these things plays a big part of it, and I think both the man and the woman has some level of accountability and responsibility. My last point here before I close out tonight, because I got to get to dinner. Hence me dressed up, going to dinner, celebrating dinner tonight. Shout out to Shalika, her birthday. The Queen's birthday is today. She turned 21 again. Yep, 21. Oh man, but it's her birthday. Let's say that we shout her out. I love her. I don't know if y'all do, but I love her. So that's all that matters, right? So my last points: personal preference and compatibility. And that's really big here. Some black women are open to interracial dating, but others prioritize marrying within their community. And by doing that, it limits the pool of potential partners, right? There are a lot of women that say, no, I want a black man. I want a strong black man named Rufus. I want Rufus. I don't want Tom. Nope. No hit against Tom. Oh, we got Tom on here. Hey, Thomas, is your name Tom? Short for Tom? I'm gonna start calling him Tom. Tom. I'm gonna call you Uncle. No, sorry. I'm gonna call you Tom. But no, they don't want to move. They don't want to shift out from their community, right? So I get it. So you don't want to do that. So that's, you want to stay within your community. Nothing wrong with it. But you limit their pool because it's, again, mass incarceration. Also, the difference between the wealth gap in the black community. Again, I said earlier in the show, black women are are earning more now, higher education now, and so now it puts more fire under black men. Hey, you got to get your stuff together. So that we got high standards. Many black women hold high standards for marriage, which they should. Which is a sign of self-respect. But it can reduce the number of suitable partners. Say it again. Many black women really have high standards for marriage, which again can, reduce the number of suitable partners. And then the high standard for marriage, I would want to go and peel the onion back a little bit deeper and say, why? Like what's the why behind it? Some people have high standards because they should, but some people have high standards because of what society says, right? They let society kind of be the one to dictate that, what to expect from a man, what he should be doing, what he should be doing. And I think nothing's wrong with that, but I think also we got to look at it from the perspective that perhaps men should be the same way. Men should have some high standards and some high expectations as well. Let's talk about it, right? Why is it only the women that have the high expectations? I think the men should have the same expectation as well. Now, I want to open up right now, real quick. Any final thoughts, comments? I want to read them. I'm going to address them real quick before we conclude our show tonight. I want to address those comments. Let me see here. We still on YouTube? We still live on YouTube? Cause my thing almost look like it cut me off on YouTube. I ain't know I talk that much. I'm still on? Okay, all right, YouTube. So, last thing, I want to get some last perspectives. I wanted to hear your perspective too as well. So how do we get past this, right? I think supporting economic and educational opportunities for Black men and women can foster a more equitable relationship, right? I think we need to challenge some of those stereotypes too as well. Combating negative portrayals of Black women can help, shift societal attitudes towards, Black women and marriage in general. And then lastly, relationship education, encouraging healthy communication. It has to be healthy communication, and not just that, but mutual understanding from both perspectives. I think that would also give us some level of changing the dynamics here. Because when I saw that like in the 1970s, only 20% of Black women was not married. And then fast forward, it's like 48 to 50% now. Something's changed. And what do? If something's changed, we get to learn to be the change for the better. And that's what we should be doing. Last thoughts, anyone else? Last thoughts before we end tonight. I see here, do you believe single people keep people single? Ooh. Yeah, I remember talking. I think my old pastor would say that. He said, no single woman or single person should be hanging out with no married people. It was something like, what was it, like that, or it was a single person hanging out with somebody that's about to get married. It was something, because a lot of times people that have been single for such a long time, they have such a negative connotation when it comes to marriage or a relationship, because they ain't got nobody. So they ain't got nobody, they don't want you to have nobody either. And so that can be, that's a good point. Sometimes single people can keep people single. If you meant it by that way. I think you did, I don't know. You also could probably look at it from another perspective. If a person is so used to being single and they get into a relationship, or maybe they don't get into a relationship, they just get into like a situationship because they prefer to be single and they don't want to really be in the relationship, so they just stay single. And because they're staying single, the other person's staying single, but in reality they're kind of like in a relationship. I don't know. People do things like that. But again, I think this is some healthy conversation, healthy dialogue. We talk about it. Okay, you did mean it that way. I think it's a healthy conversation when we talk about it, because it's just an alarming stat that I said, hey, I want to bring this to the podcast and have a conversation about Black women in terms of those numbers in marriage. How do we change it? Or does it stay the same? Or, hey, is it not hurting anybody? Like, hey, if I decided to stay single, why is it bad? Somebody on TikTok said, well, single is not necessarily a bad thing. They decided they want to be single. Hey, Paul was like that. He said, hey, I'll be single. So to each is their own, but I believe there's more Black women, I believe that would prefer marriage over singlehood. And so, again, a lot of factors: Black men incarcerated, education, the wealth gap, and a whole other area that we didn't even hit on tonight is that, you have a nice proportion of Black men that desire the same sex. So if he don't want you, Black sister, because he want a Black man or a white man, you ain't his type. So that takes out some more people, that cut out some more of the pie, that gives them some slim pickings. And then some of those people that the men left over, you got to filter through them, right? Because some of the men left over, somebody said in church, somebody said in church, when I go to church, it's like all the good men are taken. It's like parking spots. Like all the good parking spots are taken, and the only ones left behind that's open is the handicap spots. And so they were saying, oh, the good men taking and the men is not taking the handicap, and I don't want to be dealing with nobody handicap, and you know, bad joke probably. But I've heard it, and I thought it was like kind of comical, like, okay, all right, that's what you're gonna say. But yeah, so that's my time, y'all. Listen, thank you for listening. Next week we talked about relationship the last 2 weeks. We're gonna pivot a little bit, or we'll come back to some more relationship topics. We're gonna pivot to talk a little bit about, I'm gonna give you a hint, 47. 47. Our 47th president. Black. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Donald. Oh, sorry, no, I don't call him Donald. I give honor where honor is due. First, giving honor to God, who's the head of my life, to the president, Donald J. Trump, to the first lady, Ivanka, whatever. So we're going to talk about our dear president. And talk about our president. Let's talk about our president. Let's talk about the ones that we say that sold out because they performed there. Let's talk about that. How do we change Washington, change politics if we're not at least at the table to have a conversation with them? I could be at the table. Don't mean I agree with your policies, but I could be at the table because how can we invoke change if we don't show up at the table and talk? So, hey, I'll see y'all next week. Again, same time. I'll see y'all later.